Hello, I'm Robert, fact-checking stories that scare you. And this one is about, some people come to us sometimes who are scared of micronovas. And this is a pseudoscience crackpot theory, which literally doesn't mean anything. The claim is that the sun produces, it's something like this, long rambling videos, that the sun produces micronovas every 15,000 years, and that these produce extinctions, and that there's going to be another one soon, and that he says that it is because of some instability in our sun triggered by a galaxy-wide plasma sheet. And there's some claim that it's not just our sun, but all the stars in the galaxy are going to go nova simultaneously. And he also says that global warming is not caused by CO2, but by the sun warming up. So, first of all, the sun is very stable, and just to explain how it works, then the sun doesn't work. He claims it works like our fusion reactors, and it could easily go unstable. But our sun is very, very dense and very hot, and it does extremely slow fusion. There's no point in us trying to. We couldn't do it. It's so dense. No point in even trying, because it's just so slow. But because the sun is so big and it's very heavy in the centre, then it produces lots and lots of heat and light from that vast heavy region. And it is right in the centre of the sun that this happens, and it takes light hundreds of thousands of years, maybe up to 1 million years, to reach the surface, because it's so dense, it's bouncing around and bouncing around from one atom to another and eventually getting out. And so that's a very stable process. And our sun stays stable. It's the comfortable middle age of its life. It's not like the teetering very young stars, which are very unstable. Then later on in our life, in billions of years, then it becomes a red giant, and eventually it throws off sheets of gas and dust and produces what are called planetary nebulae. They're not planets, but they look like planets to early astronomers. And but that's billions of years in the future. But right now our sun is very, very stable, and it can't do nova. Some stars can. They're typically a binary system where gas goes from one star to another, which then triggers a nova. But there's no other star that we aren't in a binary system, and our sun doesn't go nova. So the other thing that it doesn't go nova. It's just a misapplied astronomical term, and so micronova doesn't mean anything. It's just made up. And then the other possibilities, if your made-up term could be anything, but our sun also does solar flares, and it can't do a super flare, which is that some stars can produce a super flare, which is a temporary brightening, and not like a nova, but it produces it is more like a brightening of a tiny patch on the surface of the star, which can then brighten and become as bright as the entire star. And our sun can't do that. It's the wrong kind of star to do that. It can produce solar flares, but they're very, very faint, and nothing like as bright as the sun itself, although they look bright if you use a special telescope. So then there's also this idea, he talks about the Parker instability, and there is such a thing, but he's not using it properly. If we go back up to if we go to a picture of the galaxy, I think there's one at the beginning here. Where did it go? Some picture of the galaxy. There we are. Then our galaxy is like that. It is indeed spiral, and it's got this flat plane. Oh yes, there was one where I was. Never mind. Oh yes, where I was, but that was fine. I had to show it better actually. Right. So there is a plane, the plane of our galaxy, and there is the plane of a galaxy, and if it wasn't for the Parker instability and the effects that cause it, then all the gas and dust would cool down and lie in the plane of the galaxy. And then we would have been going through this rather thick layer of gas and dust 3 million years ago. But it doesn't work like that. This is because of cosmic radiation from the centre of the Sun and from the centre of the galaxy and from other galaxies and from supernovas and from energetic stars and so on. And these heat up the gas and dust in the Sun and in the plane of the galaxy. And this causes all the gas and dust to rise up, and because of thermal agitation it would be pulled towards the disk because of the gravity of all the stars and other material in the disk. And this throws it up and down, and then it gets ionized, and the magnetic field also pushes it up and down. And that's what and that's the Parker. The Parker instability is because this is it's turbulent. The ionizing atoms moving around, ions moving around, they interact with the magnetic field, and it's not just a steady thing. There's lots of turbulence going on, and this causes the gas and dust to clump together, and so then you get this helps with star formation. So for instance, the Orion Nebula and the gas cloud that our Sun was born in 4.5 billion years ago, then this sort of thing is assisted by the Parker instability. And so what it causes is for the gas and dust to clump together in little clumps here and there, and see almost the opposite effect of what he's talking about, of a plasma sheet spread out through the galaxy. It's nothing to do with his idea. His idea is just all back to front. And then finally there's the bit about the he says that the Sun is causing global warming. It's actually, the Sun is not warming up. So this, you can measure this. This is the irradiation from the Sun. This is how you measure it. This is what it is so far. And as you can see, it varies with the solar cycle, and sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. This looks like a big amount, but it's this usual thing. They magnified a small part of the range. This starts at 1360 to 1362 on this scale. And so there's a tiny, tiny change in the solar output that happens during the solar cycle. And this tiny change has been reducing very, very, very slightly since 1950, if you look at the average over the solar cycle. So it does have some effect, but the effect it has is minute and is in the opposite direction of anthropogenic warming, which, as you can see, is going way up. And it's increased by 0.8 degrees C. So this has nothing to do with the Sun warming up. I've talked separately about global warming. I put a little link here, positive articles on climate change. There's loads of mistaken things about global warming. Please, I've got lots of videos explaining that it's, although it's serious, it's not at all the collapse of civilization or human extinction thing or whatever. In fact, I did a video about that just yesterday, so you can have a look at that. And this is a very famous example of techno-babble, which is basically what he's doing. So here it talks about the latter consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacent lunar wave shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal lotuso-deltoid type, placed in panendemic semi-boloid slots in the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the grammeters. That doesn't mean anything. It's really this was made up by some engineering students for fun, and so here you can listen to a little bit of this, someone talking about, just reading out some of it.
As required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal repleneration. It's not cheap, but I'm sure the government will buy it.
It's very, very silly. Anyway, and then this is an example of technobabble from Star Trek.
Mr. Barclay, everyone's still trying to figure out exactly how you did it.
Well, it just occurred to me that I could set up a frequency harmonic between the deflector and the shield grid using the warp field generator as a power flow anti-attenuator, and that, of course, naturally created an amplification of the inherent energy output.
Huh? I see that.
So that's basically what he's doing. He just technobabble. So anyway, I hope this helps some of you that are scared. And so I'll upload this now, and do like and subscribe, usual thing. And if our group is there to help you if you're scared of stuff like this. I do say Debunked, and also to join if you want help with fact checking or just helping to reassure scared people in the group. So we have such a infodemic of all this stuff on YouTube. Doesn't mean anything. A lot of this stuff, it's just silly stuff.